Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. I'm super excited for this video because I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Fortnite Peely Bone set. This is set number 77072. It has 1,414 pieces. And I actually got this as a gift around the winter holidays. It was like back ordered and it took a while to ship, but it retails for $100, and I was going to buy this set absolutely. It's some of my favorite skins are the banana skins. Peely Bone is a really great one. I wanted to see what this all had going for it, so I was really excited when this got announced and when we got the official images, and I'm really looking forward to putting it together. I'm not sure how long this will take. This might end up being a Patreon exclusive or member exclusive for at least sometime, and then I'll have it as a backup video. I'm going to try to build up some of my get ahead of my regular uploads, and then also have a front loaded kind of catalog of videos that will be exclusive to people who pay for the Patreon or members on YouTube, and then I can release those if I miss a day or don't have something to release at a certain point, but I'll keep them kind of not private, but for Patreon and members, and this may be one of those. It may not. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on how the build goes and how big the final model is. Usually when I get to boxes that are this big or bigger, it gets a little bit dicey to record and to give a great review in my recording setup right now, but maybe it's something I can come back to as my setup improves and other stuff there. So I'm really excited to get into this, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna open this up, I'm gonna put this together, and then if it is a long build, I will and I can't review it normally, I will speed the video up and then kind of provide a commentary over the rest of the build portion, in which I will talk about my feelings about some of the techniques in here, the looks of different things, and any of my other thoughts after building this. So I'm looking forward to that, and thank you and enjoy. Okay, so this is commentary recording Adam here, and I just wanted to reiterate, thanks for being a member or patron or any of that stuff. This is a build that I was really looking forward to, and I think it delivered. So I'm recording this as usual with these. I'm recording my commentary well after I recorded the actual build process of this, but I wanted to kind of talk about the build in a slightly different way than I normally do my reviews. So the build process is not sped up as much as I typically do it, and I'm not going to have really the same traditional kind of review at the end, so I'm going to try to cover everything while the build is going on. We can see here that actually one of the first things we build is one of the accessories that really won't come into play until later, and it's kind of that banana hammer or banana pickaxe there. And then this is really interesting because we start by building the kind of stand that this Peely Bone actually sits on, and this is really cool. It's got kind of the feet, at least one of the feet, built into it because that gives it its stability here. You can see some of the Technic pieces that we're going to be using, but just in general, I thought the design and build of the black base down there was really unique and not nearly as simple as it maybe appears. So you can see that it is turned on its side where it was studs basically on top, but then got kind of adjusted there, and that kind of stuff continues here. We're actually, just starting out, but we have a section of the foot and the leg kind of already in there, and now we can start working on sort of the rest of the base for this. Also on the black base there, you can see that kind of, I think it's brown, reddish brown sort of slope in there, a couple other off colors in there, as well as those mixel ball joints in there, which again all kind of lend themselves to this really unique build. Here we're going to start putting together what will eventually be, the other foot, the one that's maybe not the more skeletal one, and the makings of like the leg and everything else. And this one's in a really interesting pose. And then once we get all of that, we can kind of complete the black base of this, in totality. And you can see another off color in there that gets used, kind of the inverse piece of the one that the brown one we had used. So that's all going to get covered up with some really nice stuff, but we can see we already have, the feet of Peely Bone completed here. And now, just like on the skeletal side, we're going to build a bit of the leg, a little bit of repetition here with using a bunch of brackets, studs on the side pieces, some Technic bricks, kind of lock everything down with different pieces there. And yeah, there's some repetition for this, but I was surprised at how sturdy this was and how well this was able to hold up everything there. It's actually upside down, sort of. You can see the bottom of the plates, the brackets up there. We do use Technic pins to kind of close that all up, but to get sort of the angle for the ankle and then onto the knee is really, really good. And that foot is kind of raised up a little bit. And we're going to build here some of this rocky kind of terrain that is going to help cover up some of the pieces that are underneath there that are a little bit strange, but also some interesting building techniques, some studs on the side stuff, lots of different uses of angled pieces, chamfered pieces, or sloped pieces. Again, we're going to be building up kind of a similar section as we did for the leg there, another one of those, and we will see how that gets attached. This one is not identical because it is kind of going to be more of that thigh area, and for a lot of it, that build for that leg, it's like one stud wide, and we do use some studs on the side bricks and everything that does lock everything in when we actually put plates and tiles on the side. But I was surprised at how narrow it was actually and how sturdy it was. So the legs here, at least the majority of them, are essentially completed, and now we will go on to the body. Again, there's some off colors here that you're not going to see at the end. It's for ease of use and everything, but we're actually working on the banana Peely Bone skin body here, and pretty early on you can kind of see the difference between the kind of more skeletal side or the x-ray side and the complete side. So that's the color differences there, for those kind of ratchet joint connections, but also the spacing of how big those are going to be. Tons of studs on the side bricks used throughout theirs, as well as brackets. And then we can actually start working on kind of the panels that are the basis for the body for Peely Bone here. And there are some printed pieces. You can see one right there on kind of in the center of the screen with some brown spots on it or something like that. There aren't stickers in this set, except there is one. You can kind of see it in the top left of the screen right now, just under the base. I did not put that sticker on. I still may eventually. It just, for the time being, I decided not to. That is the only one. The rest is just like prints. So that's for the face. We can see another one down on the bottom. I think it's the corner of a mouth there. A couple of the slopes with the kind of brown spots on there. And that ends up completing the kind of banana side of the body, really, which is kind of impressive. Again, it's not like super big, but the model at the end is actually a decent size. And then we can work on the skeletal side. This side I thought was really fun because we have to be more considerate about like the pieces that are going to be visible, because it's not going to be like totally covered up like the banana side is. So that is nice. And we're actually starting with the face, so some of this does get covered up, but we're starting kind of with the skull area there, and then we'll work on the body, which does include like some internal organs sort of, and different stuff there, as well as all the like skeletal structure. And I think it's really nice. It's kind of already coming together here in a great way. I did separate this out into a couple different days of building, just because of time management and everything else there. So that's why it was moved off of my recording area and then moved back. And now we're going to work on, I think, the lower portion that is going to connect to the bottom there. And this has some really interesting uses of these like sloped pieces, as well as like brackets and things that are offset by kind of unique amounts to kind of finish up the rounded curve of the body. And then we're also going to need to add the elements that will allow the leg to connect to the body. So some of that is done in here, and we can use some of these nice pieces to kind of cover that up and make this look organic and round. For this one, we're going to build kind of the lower portion of the body as well. And then we have some interesting pieces to kind of build like what appears to be intestines and different things like that. So again, you know, there's actually a lot of 1x1s in this, but there's also some bigger pieces. We do like tile down some things here because we are and the designers are aware that some of that's going to be visible through the bones, which is good. Nice that they considered that. And it's really starting to like take shape of what these elements are going to look like. We use some of those like Technic 90-degree kind of curved pieces that receive like an axle pin, or you could put like a stud in there. So that's how we get those kind of all connected, which is really nice. I did have some I think mistakes when I was building this, such that I had to like undo a couple things and go back. So now we have kind of that abdominal area there, and we can see we do have the white, including like a droid arm piece in there that's kind of indicating the bone and everything. We're going to be building up the top. This was really unique as well. The sort of top of the peel here I thought was done in a nice way. It slots in really good at a good angle. There's not a ton of gaps in this build. I mean, overall, I just think this is a really nicely designed piece here. For the bones up at the top there, we use the white boomerang pieces, which is very cool. We can build up some of the areas that are going to be sort of where the chest is for the rib cage, as well as what will eventually be like one of the arms here. We also have a little bit of like the spine or the vertebrae kind of coming through there. We use a bunch of these kind of longer, almost like root pieces. There's also a lot of use of the hot dog piece. Nice use, in my opinion, of the clear kind of they use it for like posing minifigures in like Marvel sets. So that clear curved kind of piece in there I think works really, really well for this. There's not a ton of room on there, so you might not even notice that that's a clear piece. It could have very well been a white piece, but I don't think as of right now they make that piece in white, so it makes sense that they did it just with the clear piece they already have. Here we add even more kind of detail to the back, and then we can work on attaching this to both of the legs, which was really satisfying when it came together to get this posed right and to see kind of how stable that was going to be exactly. So I was really, really pleased with that. And then I believe we will start to work on the arms. So these are going to use those like ratchet joint pieces that go in the other kind of receiving side of those pieces there. And we do build in, there's like some posability to this. You know, the legs are pretty much locked down, but the arms do allow for some movement. So here we're kind of making the skeletal arm and the hand there, so we can attach that, and then we can work on the more banana side arm, which does make use of actually one of these mech arm pieces from the more modern mech thing. So it's like a pre-bent thing there, but we also still will get some range of motion just from like the ratchet joint pieces that we're using. So I think that is really good, and the build for this was interesting, and I may have messed something up there for a second and had to do it. This is the hand that is going to hold one of the accessories that we haven't built yet, and so we have to make some additional considerations there. And on to bag 14, we are going to kind of add a little bit extra of like the peel as well as the backpack. So this was a really nice detail. It's easy to put this on and take this off. The kind of backpack or what do they call that in Fortnite? Back bling or something, you know, is good. It's again a nice build, nice color usage, and it does have those bunches of bananas which add a little bit of extra detail in there, which I appreciated. And then, you know, I think it's supposed to be kind of general other Fortnite accessories. I've played a good amount of Fortnite in my time, and the banana skins are some of my favorite. I do love the Peely Bone one. I love like the Cause banana one, and there's also like I think Potassius Peelus or something, which is sort of like a Roman or Greek sort of you know, old time, ancient kind of looking royal thing or gladiator style. Here we're working on a accessory that I'm just gonna like refer to as a blaster there. We do have some more prints in here, which are nicely done again for these. And this doesn't have any functionality. This is sort of a blaster that is just kind of decorative. I think with Lego doing Fortnite, which is at its core like an FPS game, but Lego wanting to avoid, you know, certain kinds of depictions of certain kinds of tools, I guess, or I guess I can just say like weaponry. The Lego group is a little bit wary on that kind of stuff. So I think for this and for the Fortnite Battle Bus, you know, some of the accessories are not full on weaponry from the game, which is interesting because they, you know, do blasters and different things for Star Wars and whatever else. And here we are done kind of speeding through everything. So I'm completing this now, putting on the little placard there for the title of this, and I'm going to try to kind of move this around so we can get a good view. And I think that looks fantastic. The build for the base is really like, it ends up being, you know, rectangular with the rounded corners there in a really nice way, even though the build was a lot different. Here you can see I'm kind of playing with the posability a little bit, so we can get the banana hammer or the banana pickaxe thing kind of in the skeletal hand, and we can also move the more banana side hand as we want. I think the face looks really good, and it's surprisingly sturdy, sort of built up on those legs that were narrow or thin, which is appropriate for the design of this, but at least in my mind, I was a little bit suspect on how stable those were going to be, and it ended up working really, really nicely. I'm not sure what just fell or what came off, but maybe we'll be able to see that in a moment. I really, really liked this build. There were some great techniques in here, good part usages. I think this set is really, really good value. I might have mentioned at the beginning, this was a gift. I would have bought this set anyway. I think this amount of pieces, this size of a model for $100 is an incredible value. So I had a blast building it, a blast talking about it, and I think it looks great as a display piece. So I think it's really funny, really cute, and cool. So that is it, and thank you.